All right, good evening, everyone. You are highly welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. Believe you can see my screen. So this is yet another time for us to discuss an interesting topic as regards to health and safety in various industries. We started this phase or this episode 3 weeks ago. We started with health and safety in the facility management industry. Last week, we discussed health and safety in the transportation industry. So today we are talking about health and safety in telecommunication industry. So as we usually do, I'll just start with a brief presentation, after which we'll now give room for everyone to share his experience and ask questions where necessary and also contribute to the topic. So today we are talking about health and safety in telecommunication industry. So within the few minutes, I'll be touching, I'll look at some of the rules of safety in this industry. I'll look at some of the legal regulations. I'll look at some responsibilities of safety officer in telecommunication industry. And I will summarize with rescue kits. It's a component, the importance of rescue kit in this industry. Okay, so safety in telecommunication is just like safety in every other industry. The only difference is the activities are unique because they have high risk activities. There are so many activities that are classified as high risk, such as working at height. So, but aside that, safety in telecommunication industry is very much similar to other industries. And the major role of safety in every other industry, as well as telecommunication industry, is to ensure employee protection. Our job as safety professionals is to ensure that the employees are well protected, that all the safety measures, all the procedures, standards are complied with to ensure that the people goes back home safely after doing their job. So that is one of the rules of safety in this industry. Also, to ensure compliance with legal requirements, all the legal requirements to ensure that the organization or the employer is not falling short of what the law says. That is part of what safety is doing. Another role is to ensure productivity and cost saving. If accidents are prevented, if people do not get injured, then hospital bills, all the costs associated with incidents are saved, and those costs are saved for the organization. So that is part of the role of safety. Another role of safety in this industry, just like in other industries, is corporate responsibilities and reputational image managing. So if safety is well prioritized in every industry or every organization, then the corporate image is well preserved. People will respect that industry and people will be happy with them. People will be happy to do business with that organization. Then training and awareness. Safety in every industry as well as telecommunication ensures that the workers or the employees are well aware of the potential hazards associated with their activity and associated with their job. Then, what are the responsibilities of a safety officer in this industry? First one is they are responsible, or they are part of developing safety policies and safety procedures to ensure that the organization is complying with legal requirements and the organization is following the standards. And these procedures and policies are, when implemented, instrumental to upholding positive safety culture in that workplace. Another role of safety officer here is to conduct risk assessment. There are many high risk activities going on in telecommunication industry, and the safety officer must ensure that he carries out risk assessments in conjunction with the other workers and other field agents to ensure that the hazards and the risk associated with these activities are identified on time and well communicated to the team exposed to these hazards. Another role of safety officer here is to conduct safety trainings, basic trainings, specific trainings related to the activities. Safety officer conducts trainings here. Monitoring and monitoring compliance. Safety officer also goes to the field to monitor the activities to ensure that the workers are following the safe procedures and safe processes. Incident investigation. When an incident happens, safety officer becomes part of the incident investigation team, takes up the charge and ensure that the root cause is identified and adequate preventive measures are put in place to prevent reoccurrence. Safety officer also conducts safety audits regularly to ensure that the organization is complying with legal requirements and that they are doing all that they need to do to ensure that the workers are safe. He also prepares emergency preparedness plan, follows it up, ensures that it's implemented, conducts regular drills to ensure that the workers are conversant with this plan. He maintains records of inspections, records of trainings, records of incidents. He also supervises hazardous operations, maybe when working at height, when working near energized stations. Safety officer is responsible also to supervise these activities and ensure that the workers are following the safe procedures. In overall, he also ensures that he promotes safety culture, positive safety culture in that workplace. Let's look at some of the legal regulations associated with this industry. ISO 9001, which is Quality Management Systems standard, is also applicable in this industry. Another specific standard or ISO standard is the TL 9000. This TL 9000 is specifically built for telecommunication industry. It's like a branch of the quality management system that is specifically customized for telecommunication industry. So this standard looks into the requirements for designs, development, production, deployment, even maintenance of telecommunication products and services. So this is what ISO TL 9000 does. Okay, then for ISO 27001, it's what maintains the framework for information security management. Okay, so telecommunications handles people's data, people's communication system. So this standard ensures that the sensitive data are protected. So that is what ISO 27001 does. ISO 14001, which is Environmental Management System, is also applicable to telecommunication, ensuring that the activities and the operation of this telecommunication industry does not impact the environment adversely. So ISO 14001 also is applicable to this industry. ISO 45001, which is the Occupational Health and Safety Management System, is also applicable to this industry to ensure that the safety systems are well adhered to, that the workers' health and safety and well-being are well taken care of. Okay, ISO 5001 is also applicable here because this standard ensures that energy management systems are well taken care of to ensure that there is proper performance, to ensure that energy reduction, there is energy cost reduction. Okay, so ISO 5001 is also applicable in telecommunication industry. So let's look at some of the hazards, health and safety hazards associated with this industry. The first one is microwave and RF radiations. Falling from height, exposure to hazardous chemicals, extreme weather conditions, working at height, confined space, heavy equipment, electrocutions from electrical or fiber optic cable. Let's take a few of them. Let's discuss briefly about radiations. So the radiation associated with telecommunication industry is known as non-ionizing radiation. So what happens in non-ionizing radiation is that this type of radiation doesn't have enough energy to ionize the atoms or molecules. So the sources most times is from the microwave. The sources most times is from your mobile phones or from your Wi-Fi router, from microwave ovens, radio and televisions, the radar system, the telecom mask, those towers. So these are majorly the source of radiation. So people working in this industry are at high risk of exposure to microwave and radio frequency radiation. So what are some of the safety guidelines that can be implemented to ensure that these workers are safe? One of them is the exposure limit. Exposure limit of this non-ionizing radiation must be complied with. So it's 10 milliwatts per centimeter square of distance. So if you are exposed beyond this recommended exposure limit in 1 hour period, then there is tendencies of getting a ill health effect associated with this radiation. Another measure that should be in place is training. The workers should be well educated about this risk associated with these non-ionizing radiations, and they should be aware of this risk when going into this industry. Personal protective equipment should be made available. If they are exposed to these radiations more frequently, then they should use RF protective clothing and eyewears. Signages, warnings, labels should be in place so that anyone coming in contact to this radiation emitting equipment should be aware that he's getting close and there is hazard or there is risk associated with non-ionizing radiations. Safe work practices. We can implement working from a distance. We can implement routine or regular frequent breaks. So this can help to reduce the dose of radiation exposed to. Monitoring and surveillance. Regular monitoring, checking by the health facilities to determine the rate of exposure that the worker have been exposed to in the past month or in the past weeks. Emergency procedures should be in place. Health surveillance should be in place. Before the worker starts the job, he should be properly checked and knows his status before he starts getting exposed to these non-ionizing radiations. Some of the health effects associated with non-ionizing radiations could be thermal effects or tissue heating or burns. So that is feeling hot inside frequently if the worker gets too exposed to these non-ionizing radiations. Another hazard associated with this industry is falling from height. This activity involves people most times climbing over 1,000 feet, sometimes climbing above that. So there are lots of towers that are very high and there is chances of people falling from height. It could be due to poor use of safety equipment. It could be due to defective parts or lack of training. So, but there is high risk of people falling from height because of the height, and the severity of that fall could be very fatal. So that is why this industry is part of one of the high risk industries. So what are the safety measures to prevent this incident? 100% fall protection. When climbing the tower also, it should be using the full, safety harness or full body harness while climbing. So freehand climbing should not be encouraged at all. Training, the workers, people climbing to these towers should be well trained and they should be competent in using fall protection equipment. So this would help to ensure that they know what to do, they know the techniques of climbing the towers, and they will do it safely. Another safety measure that should be in place is regular inspections. The working at height equipment should be regularly inspected by competent persons, by third parties, and even by the workers themselves and their supervisors before every activity or before the use of any of those equipment. Emergency procedures should be in place. There should be a trained rescuer in place. Rescue equipment should be in place at every point that work at height or tower climbing is being done. Okay, so in my conclusion, I'll look at the rescue kit. So this is a picture of a rescue kit. The rescue kit is the essential tool, is a safety tool that is required for tower climbing. So at any point or at any location where the workers will be climbing a tower or be working at height, rescue kit must be available. Now there must be a trained and competent rescuer who will be at the foot of the tower. He will not be permitted to climb to the tower until an emergency situation arises. So if there is an activity involving climbing the tower, a minimum of 3 persons must be available. 2 people climbing up and 1 person at the foot of the tower serving as the rescuer. So that person that is the rescuer must be trained, he must be competent, he must know how to use the rescue kit. Then the rescue kit itself must be inspected by a third party every 6 months and must be pre-inspected before each activity to ensure that the rescue kit is safe and can be used at the event of emergency. So the component of the rescue kit include the rope, the anchor scribe, the descender, mini haul kit, carabiners, the slings, the rescue knife, first aid kit, and the yoke. So these devices or this part of the rescue kit must be inspected individually. You cannot give an inspection tag to one inspection tag to cover the entire rescue kit component. No, the inspection is done individually. Even the inspection, third-party inspection certificate is issued for each of the components. The rope will have its own inspection certificate. The anchor stripe, the descender, the carabiners, the sling, each of them will have their individual inspection certificate differently. So that each of them can be renewed or each of them can be discarded if found not to be safe to use during the inspection. So this is where I will draw the curtain today, and I'll now give room for others to contribute to this topic of discussion. Thank you for your time. So the floor is open now. We can now add our thoughts to the discussion.
Thank you so much, Johnson, for your excellent presentation. You basically touched everything. The only thing I want to add is that telecommunication work especially the working at height aspect of it, the erection of a mast. Like any other working at height, apart from the fear of a personnel falling from height, there is also the fear of tools dropping from height, in other words, drop object. And to mitigate this hazard, personnel working at height, they need to make use of a harness that secures their tools to their risk, so that in case of unintended loss of grip of the tool will not fall down and end up injuring somebody at the ground level. Then also the work area needs to be barricaded, just to be sure that a non-authorized person does not access the area. And a conspicuous sign should be displayed, while somebody should also be on the ground watching out. In other words, anybody that has no business being around the work area should not be there at all. That is one of the most effective way of keeping away unauthorized personnel. Then, where you have other infrastructure close to the mast, it will also be a good idea to install a net around the structure being installed, so that should the tool drop, the net will catch the tool, instead of allow to have a free fall to the ground level and probably drop on a solid surface. That solid surface bounces the tools off to another direction, which may end up injuring somebody or destroying a piece of device. So these are the few things I feel like adding to what you have presented. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, as always. Thank you for that wonderful contribution.
You're welcome.
Appreciated. All right. So the floor is open for others to contribute to the topic of telecommunication safety.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Amajade, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I really appreciate your analysis of the topic of discussion. I just want to talk about, like the caller has already talked about, the last caller has already talked about, falling from height. You know, this kind of height is a height that when you fall from it, you cannot really tell the consequences, or the severity is very high. So I believe a serious risk assessment as regards work at height ought to be done. But it's very unfortunate that sometimes you see, mostly in this part of the world where we are, you see companies involved in erection of such mass or structures. They rarely use fall protection devices to work. And to my mind, I believe that there also ought to be a safety net, not just for tools alone, but at least for also employees. If peradventure an anchor was not anchored properly, or a worker was falling from height, that net will help to really a fall arrest the fall, make the worker not really have an impact on the ground. So I believe height is the highest risk of this kind of job. Also, I really also want to talk about ROFs, radio frequency. You know, these are frequencies that have high wavelength in the EM spectrum, but we should not play with it. You see, the fact that it's a non-ionizing radiation doesn't mean that people should play with it. You know, to my mind, I believe that no kind of radiation should be overlooked, because you see that radiations, they really don't, some don't pose effect instantaneously, momentarily, but you find out that after time, when there's accumulation of these radio waves in the body, it may result to it may be a mutagen that cause a abnormal change or growth of abnormal cells in the human body. So I believe strongly that this line of industry, telecommunication industry, is what we really need to look at in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a place where you see contractors just go into these things and they don't do what they need to do in preventing accidents that pertains to this kind of work that they do. So I think a overhauling of the telecommunication industry ought to be done in Nigeria, so that people come to really know that falls are not things you play with. A fall from such height can result to serious consequences. If I thought the person who survived the fall, it's just God. So those are the few contributions I've got to give, sir. I really appreciate you for your analysis on the topic. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Majede, for that wonderful contribution. Thank you. You see, the RF you talked about in telecommunication industry is not really taken so lightly. Actually, it's a non-ionizing radiation, but we don't take it lightly like that in the industry, especially the workers that are exposed to this RF daily. So they have proper shield, they have proper PPEs, and they have a proper RF monitoring device. So for us, or for people that are using the devices like mobile phones, and maybe we use it once in a while, or we are not so much associated to it, so we might be exempted from this high health effect. But for those people that are exposed to this equipment that emits very high RF, so they must be properly protected. That is where safety comes in that aspect. Okay, do we have any further contribution? Yeah, David, you missed the presentation, but I will share the video with you later. Afofem, who is Afofem there? Mr. Sarat, you have anything to contribute before we call it a day?
Okay, good afternoon. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
It's been a while. Sorry for coming late, sir. I promise to improve from next week, sir.
Okay, sir, no problem.
All right, sir. I'll have to watch the replay later.
Yeah, sure, I will share
Yes, sir.
the replay.
Yes, sir. All right, sir.
Okay, so I think that is it. So guys, thank you for your time and thank you for joining today. Next week, we'll discuss another interesting topic. So I will share the topic on time so that we can also prepare ahead. All right, do have a nice day.
All right, bye. Thanks so much.
All right, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.